So today we looked at, this is standard vertex form, but we mostly focused on general form and completing the square in order to find vertex, axis of symmetry, and x-intercepts. So we already know this form. We know that this is our h and this is our k, and our vertex is always h comma k, h is always opposite. Okay, so just looking at this, we know that our vertex is 2, 6. You guys have done this. Our axis of symmetry is what is in our brackets. So x minus 2 set equal to 0, and then we solve for x, so x would equal 2. Always write it as an x equals, okay? It's also always going to be our x value in our vertex. Finding our x-intercepts, we set this equal to 0. We set y equal to 0 for x-intercepts. So we'll have 0 equal to 3, everything else. Subtract 6 over, divide by 3, because we don't want that 3 in front here and it's being multiplied. So we'll get negative 2, x minus 2 squared. Take the square root to get rid of that squared. Can we take the square root of a negative? No. So that means that there are no x-intercepts. Okay, they don't exist. Then we focused on actually putting these into standard vertex form by completing the square and then finding all of these things. So we need to complete the square. So we complete the square by getting rid of our c. So we have y plus 3 plus something. We're always going to have that plus something equal to everything else plus something. Then we take our b and we divide it by 2 and we square it. And that's what we add to both sides. So 2 divided by 2 is 1 and we square it. Then we add that to this side here. Okay, so then 1 squared is 1, so over here we'll have y plus 4. And this just changes to this form, okay? X, we have an addition symbol. Our first sign here is addition, so that stays. And this number here, our 1, whatever that number is, just moves down and comes here. So then we have to subtract that 4 back over to get y by itself. Well, y equals x plus 1 squared minus 4. And that is our standard vertex form. This whole thing is the same as this. These are the same, just written in a different way so that we can, find our vertex and our axis of symmetry. So our vertex is opposite of h comma k. Our axis of symmetry is always our x value, but we're going to write it as x equals negative 1. And finding our x-intercepts, we set 0 equal to y. And then we solve. Take the square root to get rid of that. The square root of 4 is plus or minus 2. So now we have two situations that we need to solve for. We have positive 2 equal to x plus 1, and we have negative 2 equal to x plus 1. Subtract 1, so we get x equals 1. Subtract 1, so we get negative 3. Okay, write it as, I'm out of room, ordered pairs. Okay, so using this and this, our x-intercepts would be negative 3 comma 0 and 1 comma 0. All right, doing an example with a leading coefficient. So when we have a leading coefficient, we have to first take out a GCF, okay, from our equation. So we're going to factor out a 2, oops, this should be a 6, sorry. That should be a 6. Taking a 2 out of here, it comes out. Taking a 2 out of here, we have 6. Taking a 2 out of here, we have 3. Okay, we still need to subtract our c over. So we're going to have y plus 3 plus something equal to 2 times x squared plus 6x plus something. That something is our 6 divided by 2 squared. So we're going to have 3 squared on both sides. Since we pulled out this leading coefficient of 2, we have to make sure that we multiply this c by 2, since it's technically being multiplied here. So we'll have y plus 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18 plus 3 is 21 equal to 2. Rewriting this as a perfect square, we get x plus 3 squared. This is addition, so this is addition. And this 3 just comes back down to here, whatever that number is. Okay, then we need to subtract our 21 back over, and that is our standard vertex form. So then looking at this, our vertex is going to be opposite of h comma k. Our axis of symmetry is going to be whatever our x value is in our vertex, and our x-intercepts are going to be found by setting y equal to 0 and solving. So we'll get 21 equals 2 x plus 3 squared. Dividing by 2, I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. Taking the square root to get rid of that. Once again, I'm just going to leave it as that fraction. And we have positive 21 divided by 2 minus 3 as an option. And we have negative square root of 21 divided by 2 minus 3 as an option. Okay, that's when we're going to get out our calculator. Okay, and we're just going to type in, for the first one we have square root of 21 divided by 2. Make sure you get out of your root minus 3. So x is approximately 0.24. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, and then we do the negative version, so negative square root of 21 divided by 2 minus 3. X is approximately negative 6.24. So our x-intercepts are 0.24 comma 0 and negative 6.24 comma 0. Okay, so for this one, it's going to be the same thing, but when we, and I'm not going to run through this whole thing, but when we factor out our GCF here, we have to make sure that we pull out that negative. Okay, so then on the inside, our signs are going to change. If we were to distribute this back through, right, it would end up our signs changing again. So that's just what we are going to need to do for this one. And then the same thing, move over our C, get our B divided by 2, same process. Okay.